Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well as Leeds United soar to top of the division. It feels good, doesn't it? And listen, any sort of criticism or anything like that just goes out the window when Leeds are top of the league. We're all big fans of this club and we're all supporting this fantastic wave. And let's hope that we can stay there now. Let's hope with the return of Ramazani, with the form of Rothwell and Tanaka, with Ampadu being on the bench, Leeds United are able to really galvanise and sort that away form out and hit the highest gear that they can get to. And let's hope that we can really thrive now and see a real consistent run. So we're going to be doing the three things. We're also going to be doing full time with Connor a little bit later on. Everybody look out for that one. That's going to be live. That's where we're going to be going through all the results in the division as well. And I want to hear your thoughts as well, as Leeds should be in a really good position, hopefully, if Sheffield United blunder as well. But top two is just important right now, isn't it? So let's get into it. My first point, and the first thing that we're learning right now, is just the wonderful Dan James. Now, Dan, I think, frustrates all of us. He is a little bit annoying when it comes to certain phases, but he's brilliant, isn't he? He's just absolutely brilliant. Like, his effort, and I always talk about this, and it's quite funny because for Aronson and other players that I just talk about in a general sense, effort, I always talk about as, well, you can't just have that. But Dan doesn't just have that. I love the fact that he started bringing into his game the cutback and left foot cross, of which sometimes it can work, sometimes it doesn't, but when it works, it's fantastic. I love the fact that he's developed as a player. I don't really care what anyone says. I know that he's come down from the Premier League, but genuinely, he has improved as a player. He takes his man on. I feel his percentages are better when he crosses at speed on his right side. I feel that his decision making is better. And I don't know if that's just been improved because now our right side is our most productive, which it 100% is. And he's maybe got more of a synergy with Jayden Bogle at the back. That right hand side is really, really, really decent. And I love it when DJ's out there. And this is why I was mentioning Nonso coming into the number 10 in the last week, because if Nonso was to come into the number 10, I fully trust Dan James, and I'd have Dan James out there for the whole season. I really would. And by my looking at it right now, I don't know if you guys agree, let me know in the comment section below. Bogle and James are the best partnership, 100% for me. They understand each other's game. They know when to go. They know when not to go. They just seem like they're on the same wavelength. And I absolutely love them on that right-hand side. And it gives Leeds so many options, especially in that central space. But Dan James right now, I'm learning game by game that he's one of Leeds' most important players for me. So that's fantastic. And once again, everybody, we have to touch on Joel Peru and the Joseph discussion. It was sort of maybe another game yesterday where Peru was not really in the game. And the next one, everybody, for me is rotation. Now, I think we learned yesterday, maybe again from my perspective, that Peru is struggling a little bit. I think, don't get me wrong, there is a bit of a Haaland effect going on here, I think, with many fans. It's the fact that when he scores, it's like it sort of deems everything else as effective because he scored a goal. I just think that overall in these games, he's not providing enough. Had nearly scored, and it would have been a beautiful goal as well with his right foot. That was an excellent save, I have to say, by the goalkeeper yesterday. But aside from that, I was left wanting with his movement. I thought the midfield was struggling to find the attacker. There wasn't really any peel off the centre-backs, movement between the centre-back and the left-back, or the centre-back and the right-back. When he was dropping deep, his link-up play was pretty poor yesterday, and I thought against Derby this would have been his bread and butter, really. You know, we're coming up against the Borough side on Tuesday who need a press at the back. They really do need a press at the back. I think their build-up play is okay, but their build-up play can be effectively broken. You know, we saw that in the first half with Burnley, who did it to good effect. They got the balance right, but Borough came into it in the second half. So you do wonder against a team who builds up from the back if Leeds need a more effective press. And once again, yesterday, we're looking at it, and I do have to say the intensity from the front just isn't there. And I think Daniel Farke has to work that out. You know, I think I've got my solution as to what I do. Some of you guys have a difference in opinion. Some of you guys would like to start Bamford, but, you know, the last time we started Bamford against Borough, it didn't go that well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one against Borough, but I think a press from the front is very, very much needed. I don't know if we can go into this game as lethargic as we were even just yesterday from the front, man. Even when Derby were trying to get the ball and move the ball through that defensive third, I thought Leeds were a bit low when it comes to intensity at points, and the jogging to a press just won't do it against a good Championship side. Everybody on this channel, I always want to provide solutions as well. Leeds have so many solutions, and we have more solutions than any other team in this division, which is fantastic, and hence why we should win the league, really. But Aronson's probably another one. I'm struggling at the minute, once again, to see the upside there. Yesterday again, he's finding himself in these pockets of which he can really hurt the opposition, and he's really struggling to find these combinations. He's really struggling in that pocket to affect the opposition team. And once again, we're looking at a situation yesterday where he's really struggling to play these passes between the lines. He's struggling, in my opinion, to just connect play at all. We had a magician there, didn't we? An absolute magician there, and nobody's of that level, of course. But with the standards that we have now, with the player that we had in that position last season in Jorginho Rutter, I mean, imagine if we still had him in that central attacking midfield role as opposed to Aronson. And you can't judge Aronson on that yardstick, but he did cost 25 million. He was bought in with a serious reputation. Bearing in mind, Liverpool were interested in him the season before. And I just expect him to do some of these basics if he's going to be played in that central attacking midfield role. At the beginning of the season, when Georgie was there, he was played wide left, which tells a lot of the story. I think Farke does want that central attacking midfield role player in January. But what I will say is, I did a video on it, which I'd urge you guys to go and watch, our attackers, which I'll put on after this game, and where we can place certain players in this Leeds side to be effective. In these pockets, you've got to play Nonso. You've got to play Willy Nonso. He's so much more effective in there. And if you are to transition him into that central attacking midfield pocket, he has all of the attributes to really help Leeds there and make Leeds be more productive, and maybe even potentially help the likes of Joel Peru in that striker position. But at the minute, I just don't think we can say our energy is justification at the minute for Brendan Aronson still remaining in the team and being undroppable and indispensable to Daniel Farke. That's one thing I don't really get. But then three things, everybody. Make sure you get your comments in the section below. Let me know about Aronson, let me know about Dan James, and let me know about Peru. What would you do ahead of Middlesbrough? Stick with me. We're going to be back for full time with Connor a little bit later on, speaking about all the weekend's results and where this leaves Leeds from a positive standpoint. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, everybody. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.